Ching, 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 ding, ching, ching. Ching, 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 ding, ching, ching.
And welcome back to Chatting with the Chamber. This is our second segment of our chilly November broadcast. And we're joined by Jim McEllistrem of Servpro of Dane County West. Jim, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Carl.
And Jim, why don't you tell me a little bit about Servpro and how it was that you came to Verona?
Well, Servpro of Dane County West is a water and fire damage cleanup and restoration service. We primarily work with individuals and businesses to help them recover from these types of losses. We also handle mold mitigation, deodorization, carpet cleaning, general cleaning, and we located in Verona because partly that's where I live and I wanted to be close to home to spend as much time with my family, and also we just enjoy working in Verona. It's a great community. It's tight-knit, but it has everything we could want. It's very convenient to do business from.
That's interesting. Now, how does one go into this field originally? How did you get into this field originally?
Well, I was looking at a business to start, and I wanted something where I could help people and be involved in the community, and this is one of those opportunities where we get into situations where people have had something traumatic happen. Water isn't as traumatic, but fire certainly can be a very, very traumatic event. So being able to help people through that process and get their lives turned around and back to normal is very satisfying. And it's been a great experience.
So, did you know about this business before you get into it, or did you?
Yeah, I knew other people that had owned franchises. There's about 1,600 franchises nationwide. It's one of the biggest restoration companies in the world, and so I had the opportunity to know some friends that had owned them and heard their experiences, and it kind of led me in that direction.
Okay. And as far as starting up a business in Verona, what has been the greatest challenge so far to getting a business up and running?
Well, I wouldn't say it's specific to Verona, but I think just in general, finding people that kind of share your vision of what you're trying to accomplish. And, we're fortunately, Verona's growing and doing well economically, and so it makes it harder to find people. And so I would say that's been our biggest challenge, and we're very fortunate that we have a great staff currently. They do great work, but we're growing fast, and we're in that stage where we're trying to add people, and that's probably the biggest challenge, is just finding people that, it is a little bit of a niche industry, so getting people aware of what we do and what working here would mean for them, it's definitely probably the biggest challenge we faced.
How many staff people do you have right now?
There's about 4 of us right now, so we're pretty small. We've only been in business for about 6-7 months, but we're definitely looking to add to our on our technician side, and those are the people that are directly involved in going out to businesses and homes and doing this restoration work.
And is all your staff technicians who go out?
No, we have admin, we have sales and marketing. We all try to be flexible. If we need to pull people in to add to our production staff, we can. We also work with temporary service companies to bring additional people in. And fortunately, in the Madison area, there are quite a few people that work through those agencies that have experience. So we can usually pull someone in who is experienced in that type of work to help us if we, have a job that gets bigger. And the other side of it that's nice about Servpro is being so big nationally, we can bring in resources from corporate that can really allow us to do any size job. So we're not limited by the amount of people we have. Servpro has large loss teams that specialize in handling huge losses.
So if we were experiencing something like, say, Buffalo is experiencing now with roof collapses and things, you could bring in the heavy artillery.
Oh, absolutely, and they do, and I would imagine there's large loss teams being dispatched there already, and they come in with semis full of equipment, and they specialize in that type of thing. So it's a great resource to have and know that we can help anybody in our community, no matter how big or small they are, to get through these things.
Kind of a hometown business with a national reach.
Right, absolutely, yeah, and that's one of the things that attracted me to Servpro. So
that's interesting to know. Is there anything else that, if you were trying to explain this to Verona residents, What other things about Servpro might they not know?
Well, I mean, I think the things that I would want to make sure they are aware of is that, we're open 24/7, so it doesn't matter if you have a loss that occurs in 1 in the morning and you need us out there, we'll be out there. With water, it's really important that you get to it fast, because you don't want to, the longer that water sits there, the more chances that you're going to have secondary damage, whether it be rotting or mold or whatever it might be. So it's really important that if they have these types of losses, to get a hold of us fast, and we can get out there and start helping.
Okay. And I know we've had a similar experience in my office, but do you have any interesting customer stories that you can share with us? Well, identifying the customers, of course,
Right.
but just things that you encounter in a day-to-day basis.
Well, I mean, we, like I said, we've done wildfire, fire, mold. I think probably, my favorite story thus far anyway, and it kind of just goes to the idea of our experiences so far working in the community. We had a customer that had a water loss, and they had a pretty high deductible, and they didn't want to file a claim. I think they were concerned about their rates going up, and so I just worked with them. I said, listen, I'll keep it under this certain dollar amount, and we'll make sure it gets done. If that helps you make your decision whether or not you need to file a claim, then great. And he was very happy with that, and we did the job. And a few weeks later, when we got the payment in the mail, there was a note that said, Jim, thanks so much for all your hard work. We really appreciate it, along with a tip of $100. So, you feel really good when people make that kind of a gesture, and so that makes us feel really good that we're doing the right kind of work and helping people out.
Right, and I know I alluded to it a second ago, but we had in my office a water emergency.
Mm-hmm.
We had a little flood, and I suppose you have to have pretty good interpersonal skills, because these things catch folks by surprise, and sometimes like with a fire, it can be very traumatic. So I imagine dealing with the people, you have to have a certain kind of calmness about you. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that when you go into these types of situations, especially as you talk about fire, it's traumatic. I mean, it exposes a vulnerability that somebody in their family could have been really hurt, or even killed. So going into those situations, understanding where these people's minds are is really important, and making sure that you stay calm and assure them that we're going to handle this, and their lives are going to be back to normal at some point. And obviously with fires, it takes a long time. But with a lot of the water damages, we can be in and out of there in 3 or 4 days. So yeah, it's definitely helpful to have good interpersonal skills and be able to work with these customers. And for me, I think it's helpful that I'm very much involved in the production side as well. So I'm out in the jobs, and I think they know, as to have the owner on site, someone who's vested in what we're doing, seems to be very assuring to our customers, and so that's definitely helpful.
I suppose you're kind of like, I have an ongoing joke with my mechanic that I hope I don't see him for quite some time. You're constantly walking into kind of tragedies or emergencies. Yeah. Do you ever have ones where you have to kind of respond almost like the fire department, like get there now?
Yeah, I mean, typically it's not crucial. We're not putting out a fire, and we're not stopping that leak maybe that caused the flood. That's the plumber or the fire department. But we are emergency services, so we need to get out there as fast as we can to get the process started. The sooner we can get out there, the more we can control how much damage is done, as well as get them on the path to getting their life back. So it's not so crucial that we're there immediately, but we definitely want to try to get there as quick as we can.
Okay. And for those out there watching, we're filming this during the November cold snap this year, and is your business kind of weather dependent? On a cold day like today, would you have to approach a problem differently?
I would say that it's weather definitely affects our business. Last year obviously we had with what people refer to as the polar vortex, and there was a lot of losses due to frozen pipes, and what people should understand is that when it freezes, that's not the problem. It's when you get a little bit of warm weather and it starts to melt, and that's when things go awry. And so I would just want to make sure they understand that it may be very cold and everything might be all right, but, keep an eye on things. If there's part of your house that you don't go down to a lot, like a basement where you're maybe not spend a lot of time, check that stuff out this time of year, because, the sooner you can catch it, the more able you are to control that, so.
I know prevention is worth an ounce of cure, as they say.
Yeah.
That flood I was alluding to was a feeder hose that went into a toilet. And,
Yeah.
you always hear people talking about turning their water off when they go on vacation, because you never know what you might come home to. And
Yeah.
this was after a weekend. A little part failed is all it took, and the whole building was flooded. So
Yeah, we definitely encourage our customers to just turn off the water to the house in general, turn off the main so that all these things are covered. It's not that difficult, it's easy, and I can't tell you how many times that happens to people where they go on vacation, and you have people that may winter in Florida, and so their house sits vacant for 3-4 months, and maybe they have someone that checks on it, but a lot of times in those situations things can go right and you don't know about it. And those are situations too where you're often likely to end up with a mold situation too, because the water loss happens. Nobody knows that water loss happened, and then by the time they do, because maybe they have heat on in the house, the conditions are right for mold growth, and you can have a house that's completely covered in mold, and a huge loss. So
once that happens, you're in big trouble.
You're in big trouble, yeah.
Okay. Well, it's been a great learning experience talking to you here today. If someone wanted to get a hold of you in your business, what would be the best way to do that?
Well, I would say probably the easiest way would be to visit our website, servpro.danecountywest.com. You're welcome to call our number, 608-497-3331. And we're always here, and my phone's always on, so if they ever need to reach me, I'll be available.
Okay, and the address for the business here is?
275 Bruce Street, Suite 125.
Right, and the door's on the side of the building. We learned
That's
that
right,
this
right,
morning. So.
right.
And anything else you want to tell people about Verona, about your business here in Verona?
I just would want them to know that, we're here if they need us 24/7, and don't hesitate to call. If you have a question, if maybe you don't know if you need us, maybe you just want to find out some information about a potential problem you're having, we're more than happy to take those calls and help you in any way we can. So.
All right. Well, Jim, thank you for being on the show.
Carl, thanks.